Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to yet another video from your favorite man-child, Super Jesus Jackson. I give no shits. I'm just kidding. Yes, I do. Thank you so much for being here. I love your presence here, your comments, your support. We're almost to 500 subscribers, which is absolutely insane, okay? I mean, it is a little bit insane because I started this channel like 2 years ago almost. Some people, they start and 3-4 months in, they're already at like 100,000 subscribers. So, you know, some people hit the jackpot really early. Some people got to really grind. But it's okay. I appreciate the grind. And for those of you who have been here since the beginning, God loves you. But anyways, I hope you have had a wonderful weekend. I'm shooting this on a Sunday. It's nearing the end of the weekend, so sad days, sad boy, specifically Robert Pattinson, sad boy, because yes, we are going to be talking about The Batman. This long-awaited movie, okay? This movie was announced, I feel like 3 years ago, 4 years ago or something. And the grueling part was that, like, we went through, like, the rumors, like, and, you know, at first it was supposed to be Ben Affleck directing and being Batman. And then it was moved to Matt Reeves directing the Batman. And then Matt Reeves just ended up taking over fully and Ben Affleck went away. And we got Robert Pattinson. And for some reason, I don't know what it is, probably with exception of like Michael Keaton and Christian Bale, like the Batman that have been casted, and of course Val Kilmer, you know, push him to the side, but you know, like what, like Ben Affleck and Robert Pattinson both have kind of received this weird stereotype to them, you know, like Ben Affleck was, you know, because of Daredevil, he was kind of like no longer like, you know, America's favorite actor, you know, and then Robert Pattinson, of course, he has that, you know, America loved him, the world loved him with Twilight, you know, so, but it's just interesting how Batman roles kind of have to, they are in a way this kind of redemption in a way to some actors, even though Robert Pattinson and Ben Affleck didn't really need redemption. But, you know, in the grand scheme of things, in the mainstream, you know, in a way. But hey, every freaking girl in America is probably going to go watch The Batman because of Robert Pattinson. So Warner Brothers was like, hell yeah, it's a win-win. You know, we get the boys here to like him because he's Batman, and we get the women to like him because he's a vampire. So, but hey, no better person to play Batman than a vampire. Am I right? But yes, the movie has finally come out. The trailers were amazing for it. This movie was really, like, the marketing was just absolutely going balls fucking deep, man. With his marketing. It made it seem like this movie was going to be the greatest movie in the entire world. And I was really looking forward to it. Still am looking forward to it, even though I've already watched it. I've watched it twice, okay? I've watched it twice, and I gotta say, I think it delivered. Now, this review is going to be spoiler-free because I believe I can explain and talk about the movie and really go deep with how much I love the movie and why I did without really spoiling anything. I think that's a plus to a movie in a certain way, right? Where you're able to talk about it really in depth without spoiling really anything. But I feel like I'll make a video talking about it more deeply a little later. That video would be like 30 minutes long, like if I really wanted to make it right now. So did it live up? I think it did. Okay, this movie was gearing up to be Seven-esque, you know, detective noir, super gritty, realistic, and it definitely lived up to that. And even so, it still manages to be a Batman movie. Like, there's still a lot of things in this movie where you're just like, yeah, at the end of the day, you can't get past the fact that this dude's wearing a bat costume. And, you know, and they're very self-aware in that way, but they managed to strike a perfect balance between, you know, the gothic the mythical nature of Batman and the realistic nature of Chicago in the 2010s or 20s. I believe this movie is set in present day. So right off the bat, Robert Pattinson, how does he do? Oh my God. He absolutely amazing, okay? I don't know whether he beats Christian Bale or whether Ben Affleck beats him. I think Ben Affleck is the greatest on-screen Batman of all time, 100%. I think he's perfect. He's, comic book perfect, and he's realistic world perfect, if that makes any sense. But Robert Pattinson delivers, it's sort of a different Batman, okay? Ben Affleck was, at the end of his days Batman. Christian Bale was kind of sort of Robert Pattinson-like, because he's kind of like 3 years into Batman. Robert Pattinson is early on Batman as well, and he is super edgy, super dark, emo as hell, just introverted, and it's almost a little too much sometimes, like to the point where like you feel like he's just like, this dude's far gone. Like, even though he's acting, like, you're just like, are you okay, Robert? Like, are you okay? And it's almost sometimes, and I don't know, it's this thing where like he's playing Batman. So like, part of it is going to be like his facial expressions are going to be a little bit cartoony-ish or just a little bit too edgy, where like, it's just, he's like, he's just making weird ass fucking faces. And, he's like, take care of yourself. It's Batman. Okay. It's Batman. Okay. He does a great job. He's Batman. Okay. But no, this is a different type of Batman. Okay. This is the first time where we've gotten really just super depressed Batman, like all day, every day, like even Christian Bale didn't play this depressing of a Batman, but this movie is that. And with that being said, Robert Pattinson delivers tenfold with that, okay? And I mean, hell, I see Edward Cullen in this actor, like in his performance of Batman. I see it, okay? And that's not a bad thing, because, hey, I stand by the fact that Twilight was a very good movie, and he was great in that movie. But anyways, you have nothing to worry about, okay? Especially you boys. You have nothing to worry about. You're going to emulate him. I got out of the theater wanting to be Batman, and I'm like 23 years old. So, he definitely delivers. And one last thing about Robert Pattinson, he doesn't have to say anything. His fucking face, when he's Batman, when he's Bruce Wayne, says everything he needs to say sometimes. That's fucking brilliant. I will say that is unique. He is unique. Actually, never mind. Ben Affleck can do the same thing, because we saw it in the trailer. But I think that's a new fucking rule. I think with Robert Pattinson doing this great of acting with Batman, this is the rule now. If you want to be Batman, you have to be able to act without fucking saying anything. That is what you have to do. And Robert Pattinson does just that. Almost makes me cry. I would also say, I like the fact that this dude's not buff. Like, he's not fucking jacked, which is one of the reasons why I love Ben Affleck, because this dude is jacked. Like, he's fucking Batman. But this guy, I guess he's because he's early on Batman, so he's not going to be fully jacked. And Christian Bale was kind of a slim guy as well, but, he could fucking pack muscle. Whereas Robert Pattinson, this dude's not bodybuilding anytime soon. But I like the fact that his outfit kind of compensates for that, and he's still menacing as hell, man. And it's really the boots, it's the outfit, that makes him stand like a fucking god, like a crime-proof god. But yes, fantastic work. And as well as the other actors, I think, I don't know what his name was, but the Riddler, I think it was Paul Dano. I think that's his name. Whatever it is, he was fantastic. A little over the top at first. When I first watched the movie, I was like, this motherfucker's crazy. But I would imagine that's how a lot of people felt when they saw Jesse Eisenberg for the first time playing Lex Luthor. They thought he was a little bit too much, too theatrical. That's how I felt about this Riddler. But on the second viewing, I warmed up to him a little bit more, and I was like, I understand what this dude's trying to do. And that's kind of the point. It's bombastic, and it is kind of scary. And what he's able to do with his voice is really incredible. It's actually very similar to what Batman does, right? He's able to sound normal and also sound super maniacal and really kind of scary. It's really, really scary, like to the point where if this guy existed in real life, you would be disturbed for the rest of your life. Zoe Kravitz, absolute beauty, okay? absolute beauty. Oh my God, I fell in love with her. And I had a little bit of an issue with her arc from the first viewing, but the second viewing, I was able to, again, warm up to her a lot more, and I understood what the writers were going for a lot more. You know, Matt Reeves was one of the writers for this movie, and she's a stray cat. Let me just tell you that much. And the way that they're able to kind of weave that metaphor throughout the plot line of this movie is amazing, okay? And, you know, Batman, of course, he's Batman. You know, he's in a fucking bat cave. He's reclusive, introverted, dark, depressed. That's a fucking bat, you know, in real life. And Catwoman, Selena Kyle, many ways, is a stray cat in real life as well, you know? You'll see what I'm talking about when you watch the movie. You probably already did, but, you know. Commissioner Gordon, the guy who plays Commissioner Gordon, at first I was like, why does he talk like Batman? Which I was okay with. I understood why they were perhaps doing that, but I was like, why? But then my girlfriend was like, no, I think that's the way he talks. And I was like, well then. But he did a great job. He was very entertaining in the movie in many ways. But he really seemed like he was Batman's right-hand man, for sure. Other than Alfred, which, speaking of Alfred, Andy Serkis as Alfred is just, I mean, he's not in it a lot in the movie, I will say that, which was interesting, but when he was great. I mean, Alfred is kind of a more poised, more, you know, I guess, mature Batman in many ways, you know? I mean, because of him, that's why Batman knows how to fight. That's why he's as smart as he is and everything else. And we definitely see Alfred, you know, showing off his detective skills in this movie. And speaking of detective skills, you know, this is the first time we're really, really seeing Batman be a detective. We got this a little bit in The Dark Knight with Christopher Nolan, but we never really got it to this degree. And, you know, the games by Rocksteady, the Batman Arkham games were 100% that. Like, you really got that detective Batman. And, you know, Batman is the world's greatest detective, besides Superman, of course. Everyone knows that. But he definitely shows off here. And this movie, part of the reason why this movie is going to be a huge phenomenon in whatever way it is, whether commercially or clearly it's a critical phenomenon. Who knows if it will be a commercial phenomenon? But, you know, so many people are going to go watch this movie because it's Batman, right? And they're going to bring their kids, they're going to bring their fucking, you know, grandma and fucking brother-in-law, mother-in-law, whatever. And I think a lot of these people are expecting a fucking Batman movie, you know, where he's fucking fighting and shit and it's like fucking fun and, you know, it's a blockbuster, but like, not really. You know, this movie's 3 hours long and like it's a really gritty, realistic, detective heavy, clue heavy film, like where you really got to pay attention. And in terms of the action, I wouldn't say this is the best action in a Batman movie. I'm not going to say that right now. I think Zack Snyder's got that covered 100%. Even beats out Christopher Nolan. There's no doubt about that. The warehouse scene in Batman v Superman alone is better than anything you've ever seen Batman do in a movie. But when it comes to storyline, I think you can make a case. But obviously, Zack Snyder didn't really get a chance to really do that with Batman. But so we're not going to discount that. But God, I sound like a fucking Zack Snyder fanboy. But but no. I think people are going to watch this movie and they're going to think they're going to get a blockbuster and they're going to be bored out of their mind. I'll say that. And I love that. I love that Warner Brothers had the balls to come out with a film like this. And they had the confidence with Matt Reeves to put out a film like this. Not gonna lie, WB though, why the hell would you do Zack Snyder dirty with his 3-hour cut of Batman v Superman, huh? But you let Matt Reeves do it, right? That's what I thought. But anyways, yeah, you know, look, I still love the you know, how they said, fuck it, we're doing it anyway. And I think it paid off. I mean, will it pay off in the end? I have no idea, but I hope so. And I think the critics are speaking and the audience loves it, the majority, so far. And then, you know, Actually, this is a smooth transition to the runtime. First viewing, I definitely felt it. Some people say, oh, like, no, I didn't feel the 3 hours. No, fuckers. I'm sorry. You felt the 3 hours. I did feel it. I got to a point in the movie where I was like, okay, the movie's coming to an end, but no, we still had like 30 minutes left. And I was like, but second viewing, I still feel like it was a 3-hour movie, but it definitely flowed a lot better, and I think it needed to be 3 hours. There's no way that this movie was going to pack all this shit, all this world building, with so many characters and so many clues and so many interweaving storylines without it being 3 hours, and I'm glad they did. Now, granted, the movie takes its time, even in things that it doesn't need to take its time with. I think if you fucking scraped off scenes that could have been shortened, like, you could, I shit you not, you could have this movie be 2:30. I'm not kidding. Like, this movie takes its time a lot, okay, with a lot of scenes, and I appreciate that. In a way, Matt Reeves is just getting off right in front of us, and I love it. But the clues, man, the storyline, that world that Matt Reeves built, absolutely fantastic. And it clicked a lot more with me the second viewing. So many things where you're just like, oh my God, that connects with this. And oh my fucking God, this is this. And then like your fucking brain starts having a fucking explosion and euphoric just realization of metaphorical vines, just fucking combining, and all of a sudden you see this giant tree of Batman lore and narrative, just being shown before your very eyes, and you're like, fuck, like they did it. They fucking did it, they created this world where everything kind of referenced itself, and the clues, the Riddler, okay, as a villain, absolutely fantastic. Okay. I was kind of speechless by the second viewing. Really clever stuff. And in the same way, and this makes sense because riddles in many ways are things that were like, that was so fucking obvious, but you didn't get it, and that's how the movie feels a lot of the time, especially for me, because I'm kind of dumb. So like when I watched this movie, I was like, fuck. I was like, why didn't I get that? But I guess that's part of why it's clever, right? There is a lot of religious metaphor in this movie in many ways. And I didn't expect that, in a Batman movie. Like, you expect that with like Superman and stuff, and occasionally we do get that with Spider-Man, but I guess any fucking hero movie will have metaphor, religious metaphor. But here, like, it's got that, and it's really fucking cool. And, I commend them for that, like, I guess it's an easy way to kind of make your movie a little bit more sophisticated, just to pull in fucking religious metaphors. But hey, there's a reason why, those things are powerful, and those types of references are, they're fundamental to our lives as human beings. And they're going to find their way into movies. And when they do, and it's pulled off well, it makes the film, more sophisticated. It makes it seem more than just a superhero, more than just a movie, more than just a superhero blockbuster film. The music is incredible. I didn't think I would like it this much, okay, because if it's not fucking Hans Zimmer or Junkie XL, I'm like, but no. Michael Giacchino did a great job. He's also scored the Spider-Man movies, and I thought he did a good job with those as well. And this movie tugs at my heartstrings, many times. Okay. And, hey, props to Michael, you go from Danny Elfman's theme, which is classic, then to Hans Zimmer, of course. I mean, how are you going to top that shit? But, whether he tops it or not is a different question, but I think he does a worthy contender for a Batman score. I will reiterate, this movie just has so much to it that makes it so satisfying when everything clicks to you, And it's so fun. Like, even though this movie is not the most action-oriented Batman film ever, it's still so fucking fun and entertaining just to see Batman be Batman, and like he's with Gordon and he's finding out clues and shit. Like it's still fucking satisfying to see, which is insane. Like it shouldn't be easy to do that because, you know, you want Batman to kick ass, and don't get me wrong, he does kick ass in this movie. And also props, because this movie has a great Batmobile scene, and to the point where the Batmobile is Batman, and you can fucking see it. And, you know, and he fights a villain with a Batmobile, which is fucking awesome. And we saw that a little bit in the trailer. But I can't stress enough how much metaphor this movie has, how much sophisticated narrative and references it has. The dialogue is fantastic. It has so much depth and meaning to it. Again, metaphor, and cinematography is amazing. One of the best in any Batman film, 100%. Oh, God. And the beginning of this movie is absolutely powerful. It's one of the best beginnings to a film I've ever seen in my life. 100%. I say 100% a lot because 100%, that be that Batman. Oh, I fucking love it. For those of you who are not aware, 100% that be means 100% that bitch. But in this case, it's 100% that Batman. 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 Anyways, this movie does a fantastic job in deconstructing the Batman character. Really showing who he really is. And there's an arc here. You know, we see Batman's evolution in this movie. And the Riddler as well. We see his development. We see why he is the way he is. The Catwoman, same thing. And its dialogue and the themes that it has are so universal to us and society. And but with these characters, it's just crazy because this film's a fucking comic book film at the end of the day, right? And the Riddler's the Riddler and Batman's Batman, but it is so heartfelt, like some of these monologues by some of these characters, and you really get to see the human experience, human suffering, and human redemption through these characters' experiences and their dialogue. And it's beautiful to see, it's beautiful to hear, beautiful to experience. And it really has me at a loss for words. There are a couple things in this movie that I sit there kind of, with a fucking like, huh? You were really good, and then you did that. There's that too, but overall, that's like 5% of the whole experience. So there is some humor in the movie, which is fun. It's tasteful humor. Okay, tasteful. It doesn't go too far. It's just right. But there we have it. That was my non-spoiler review of The Batman. Please let me know if you've watched this movie. You probably have. Let me know if you enjoyed it. And let me know if you want me to do a full deep dive analysis of this film later on. If I do, that's going to be a big video. So, you know, I really want to know if you guys really want to see that. But I'm probably going to do it anyway because I love this movie so much. But thank you again so much for watching. Leave this video a like if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't. Share with your Batman loving friends if you will. But that's it for me. You guys take care. Stay safe. And until next time, I love you.
The hell are you supposed to be? I'm vengeance.